Good afternoon and welcome everybody to our Heart Unions Week events. So this event is being run on behalf of Unison. As hopefully you can see on the screen there, my name's John Finnegan. I'm a Learning and Workforce Development Officer based in the Unison Centre down in London. And so this is part of a Unison event, a week-long event celebrating Unison and unions and really looking at demonstrating how brilliant we are, I guess, really at helping and supporting our members and working people within their professional lives, but also within their personal lives as well. And the main aim of this week is to encourage more involvement from people who are already members of unions, but also seeing if we can use it to recruit new members. I think learning and development is an area that's often missed out, really. When people think of unions, they don't often think about them being a way for people to either develop personally or professionally, really. So that's hopefully some of the benefit of running these types of events. It's one of a series that Unison are running throughout the week, and it runs until the 14th. So today with us, we're going to be running an event probably going to last somewhere between sort of 30 to 40 minutes. So we'll try not to take up too much of your time. And this particular event is called Love Learning. And so what we want to do is spend a bit of time with you talking about what it is that Unison offers in the way of learning and development for its members, why we think it's so important, and hopefully by the end of it you'll think it's important too. And also look a bit about what's available for you as members of Unison. So as you can see, I've got three partners in crime today who are going to help me talk through this process. So I'm going to get them to introduce themselves now. So Stevie, can I ask you just to say hello and tell us everyone who you are?
Absolutely. My name's Stevie Millward and I'm a Learning and Workforce Development Officer, and I am also based in Unison National in London, although currently broadcasting from sunny Hemel Hempstead.
Thanks, Stevie. Cheers. And would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm Emma Calvert. I'm a ULR, which is a union learning representative, and I'm based in Leeds.
Brilliant. Thanks, Anne. And Laura?
Hi everyone, I'm Laura Hall. I'm a Learning and Development Organiser and I'm based in Yorkshire and Humberside, so I deal with all types of member and activist learning. Brilliant.
Okay, so thanks folks. So like I say, we've probably got about half hour to 40 minutes with you today. We have got two panels of ours who are helping us with all the technical stuff in the background so that we're coming through to you live. And that's Steve Elsie and Lydia Parks, who are members of the SOU team. So hopefully if there are any glitches or anything, if you could lose us or sound or sight, they'll be able to help us out with that. But the way we're going to hopefully run today is I'm going to basically be the Terry Wogan, if you like, and I'm going to be asking my guests some questions about their roles. So hopefully we'll all get to learn a bit more about what they do, how they do it, and how they make member learning really work for our members. So Stevie, if you don't mind, I'm going to come to you first. Just wondering if you could tell us a bit about your role within the national team and what it is you do to promote member learning, both nationally and how you might link in with some of the regions as well.
Absolutely. So as I said, I'm a Learning and Workforce Development Officer nationally, which means I keep a national overview of what member learning is going on in Unison across the regions, so that we know if there are any national learning concerns or any national education needs that we can push more strategically from a whole nation point of view. A lot of my job involves looking into new learning, trying to find deliverers and companies, organisations who can deliver learning that our members need. I also help regions find learning and put learning on if they need to. And also we are part of, we do a lot of our own course construction. So we might write full day courses that Unison owns, or we may well write what's called lunch and learn, so quick learning sessions that people do in their lunchtime, and bite-sized sessions that are maybe sort of short 1.5 to 2 hour chunks of learning. And really, as I said, the main goal in that is to ensure that what our members need, and for me personally, that's what they need on a national level, we can deliver, and we can help to fill any of those gaps.
Brilliant. And can you tell us a bit about maybe some of the larger organisations that you work with as part of the national team, and maybe even just a couple of the types of courses that you might run for our members?
Absolutely. So 2 of our biggest relationships are with organisations which are the WEA and the OU. Both of those we've had relationships with for a long time now. The OU offer a number of CPD workshops for us. These were full-day face-to-face events and are now sort of 3.5-hour online sessions, and they cover CPD such as autism awareness, dementia awareness, managing challenging behaviour for our members that are working in schools, and also mental health awareness, which has been a huge concern over the recent pandemic and lockdowns. WA offer a lot more kind of personal development for us. They often run our long courses such as Return to Learn and Women's Lives. And these courses are designed to help people feel more comfortable with learning, to enable them to get back into the kind of the feel of learning. We also have been we've got a great partnership with Skills Academy, which offer our members over 600 online courses that are all CPD developed, CPD certified, and these range from anywhere from sort of flower arranging and Tai Chi all the way up to your actual CPD courses, such as using MS Teams, using Microsoft Excel, conflict management, and anything else in between, really. And all that information is on our national website of who we work with and what training that we offer.
Brilliant. And I think that's often something that gets missed, I think. Again, I think if you were to stop 100 people in the street and ask them what unions do, they would imagine picket lines, or they would imagine people challenging governments and councils over terms and conditions and things like that. So the idea that the learning that's offered to members, yes, it will help them professionally develop, or like you say, re-engage with learning. For some of our members, obviously, they might not have had such a great experience of education in the past, or it may just be that they've been away from it for a while. But also the other side of it is that often a lot of the learning that people can do and people can sign up for is, and we've particularly, I think, found this during lockdown, is that often it might be linked to just their own personal interests or hobbies and that type of thing. So I think that's something that people can really push and make sure that we're beating the drum to make sure it's not all work. There is some play involved as well. I guess that's the thing I'd want to say about that. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Stevie. Now, Anne, Stevie mentioned a couple of courses there that I think you actually attended as a member originally. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your story from maybe being a member who then decided to engage in some of the courses and where that led you to? Yeah,
sure. I got a letter through the post inviting me to do a Return to Learn in Leeds. Initially, I thought, oh, this is great. You know, it looks really good. It had note taking in. I thought, oh, I've just started a new job in admin. Not really sure about note taking. Went along. It wasn't that sort of note taking. It was about actual literacy skills, and it really, really improved them skills for me. And it got me thinking about what I want to do in the future. So I was talking to the tutor, and he'd recently been to university and become a tutor. And I thought, well, that's always been my long-term dream, is to go and be a teacher. But I didn't have A-levels, so how could I go to university? How could I meet these goals? But after the course, I was talking to Rose Bent, one of our regional coordinators, and she encouraged me to become a ULR, and that also in turn made me inquire about university and what I needed to do. And the skills I'd actually already got from working in a school qualified me to go to university. I'm now actually studying to be a teacher. but I'm also very, very active with being a union learning representative and encouraging other people to take that big step and do something that's going to improve them for themselves. And it's not about always improving something because it's, you know, it's something to do, or it's CPD that's forced upon you. You do it because you want to do it. And when you go on a Unison course, you become a family member. You're not just a member, you're a family member. And every course is such fun. And it really is brilliant. I can't recommend it enough.
That's brilliant, Anne. Thanks very much for that. Could you build on a bit about some of the aspects of what you do as a ULR and tell us a bit more about the type of sessions or courses that you might engage members with on that route?
Yeah, so quite often I get notification of various courses that's ongoing or that's coming up. So we've recently had autism awareness, we've had dyslexia awareness, we've got one about empowering women and building confidence. Some of these I've actually engaged with personally and really, really enjoyed them. But I've also encouraged members to attend them because it's important that we're aware of our surroundings and aware of opportunities in which we can empower ourselves so that we can stand up and be counted. I think sometimes we're a bit shy and we have that imposter syndrome that we're not good enough, and I think everybody suffers with a little bit of that, but some of these courses really help get rid of that imposter syndrome and really, really boost your own confidence to get where you want to be in life.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point, actually. And I think it's also really important to just think about those ULRs and the journey that you've had by being a member, then being a member who attended some courses, and then from that had the confidence then to actually become more active and take on the role of a ULR. So I think that's almost like the perfect storyline, really. And I think that's something that we hear a lot of, is that once people become more engaged and involved with the learning opportunities that we offer, they're actually much more likely to become more active and want to be part of that, like you say, that kind of family network that supports and helps each other through.
Absolutely. I was very surprised when I first went on the course and I didn't know anybody, but even now, 6 years down the line, I'm still in touch with at least 4 out of 20 of those people on a regular basis, you know, and we're just checking in with each other, and it's just so nice to come away with that friendship rather than just, you know, a bit of knowledge or a bit of a qualification, and that means so much more.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole thing as well. It's again, on a lot of these courses, yeah, you might be with people from the same workplace, you might be with people from the same branch, but certainly sometimes you're going to be with people that might have a similar role but in a different department or a different organisation. So it's a real good opportunity to build your networks of support and help. So I think it's a really great role and quite a fun role to be involved in, really. It's not like you're having to deal with caseloads and things like that. It's much more fun about helping and supporting people that are around you on a day-to-day basis. So that's brilliant. Thanks very much, Laura. Sorry, Anya, go on.
I was just going to say, networking is a really big thing, and I've got a very big connect with Sheffield, who's helping me with a project, but I'll talk later on about that.
Brilliant. And I guess that's the thing, isn't it? I think often if you're worried about attending training or learning because you haven't been involved in it or engaged with it for such a long time, you can sometimes feel quite alone and quite isolated. And I think attending a training course or becoming more active within that kind of what learning and development is on offer, it really is an opportunity to, like you say, you know, build support and end up building friendships and meeting other like-minded people who are just looking to to move forward with their life and their profession, really. So that's great. Thanks so much, Anne. Laura, you have not escaped. So Laura, I was just wondering if you could tell us a bit more about your role, because you're a bit more, so whereas Stevie's working more nationally and where Anne's working more maybe locally with branches and stuff, yours is a bit broader than that, isn't it, within the region? So can you tell us a bit more about your role and maybe about some of the success stories or projects that you've most enjoyed being involved in?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, before COVID hit, I was out and about in workplaces and branches promoting the various courses that we offer to our members, and I was quite shocked at how much our members do not know about the education programme that we offer and the extensive education programme that we offer. So my job is basically to get out there and promote that, and also help co-tutor and support on various courses. So one of the best courses that I have found that is enriching for both tutors and members is the Building Confidence in Women course. So we look at the barriers that affect confidence building, and we talk about developing strategies to overcome them. I find when women come to these courses, they're really shy, they don't want to mix, they're, you know, a bit like, I'm here, but I don't know why I'm here. And once you see the growth of these people throughout the day and the course, it makes me proud to work for a union and to be able to provide our members with this type of engagement and just, you know, giving them opportunities to and nourish and enrich their minds. And I just absolutely love it. It's just so good to see people progressing and growing in confidence. I absolutely love it.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it really is a journey for some people, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And that sometimes you can see them and they don't want to like mix with people, so you go over and you try and get them out of their shell a little bit and mentor them, and once they get that confidence, they become different people and they realize what they're actually capable of. And it's so nice to see people grow and develop, not just within the union but within their personal lives as well. And you know, we've been part of that journey just by putting on a course for them. It's, you know, I think we underestimate the effect of learning, you know, on people and what it can create and help people achieve. So yeah, I love being a part of it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Even thinking back to Anne's story there, mine's quite similar. I spent 13 years working in the NHS and about another 13 years working in social care settings, predominantly with young people and working with children and their families. And it was just very interesting to hear Anne's story there, very similar to mine. I kind of left school and went and did other things. I didn't do A levels and I didn't go to university and that sort of stuff. But throughout my career, through access to good training and having good support around me, I was able to do that. And like Anne, I'm one of those people that ended up becoming a kind of qualified teacher much later in life. So it's a journey that Anne and I have taken, and it's certainly something that all our members are able to do, again, because the help and support is out there and they're not alone. And I think the thing to remember is, you know, we're talking about a very broad array of courses, aren't we? Whether it's helping people with functional skills, so whether that's basic IT skills or help with their English and maths, all the way through to professional qualifications. And I think that's the thing that people often worry about when they hear about, you know, a big organisation offering training. They assume, oh, it must be for such and such a level or such and such a degree, or I won't have the background in that. But I think the thing I'm like most about the way that we operate and the way that we offer the learning is that it starts wherever the learner is. So if the learner's needing some help around English and maths, that's where we'll start. Don't worry about the other more tricky stuff. We'll get to that eventually. But it's about starting where the learner is really and being adaptable. And certainly, I'm sure you'll agree, you know, how someone like me is much more used to working face to face with people and it being a much more social event. But we've definitely had to learn new tricks of the trade in the last year while we're adapting things so that the same courses that we were offering in face-to-face in kind of different settings, like more of a classroom setting, if you like, are now being offered online. And I think that's been a bit of a challenge, to say the least, I think, but we've definitely got there, and we're improving that all the time as well. So I guess if I was to ask you all to think about why member learning is so important, what are some of the things that spring to mind? And maybe I'll come to you first. Why do you think member learning is so important to our members?
Because it's accessible fun. There's a variety of courses there's always been courses which you would go to a workshop for, but now with COVID, a lot is now turned to it's ultra accessible. You can just learn such a variety of skills. That's like saying, it's not just skills in your work life, but just skills for your personal life, hobbies, picking up. I know one of our members teaches knitting and yoga. So there's something there for everybody, and it's just accessible. And you don't have to worry about financial part of it either. Because majority of courses from Unison are free.
Yeah.
We pay our membership, so she'll take advantage and make the most of what you're paying for.
I think that's a really, really good point. Again, might sometimes put people off. I think they might have to pay for it, but if they are big professional exams that people need to take, or qualifications that people need to get involved with, there is support there if they are courses that cost. But as the courses and the organisations that Stevie said, the Skills Academy, the WEA, the Open University, the courses that we offer with those are free to members. And like you say, sometimes people are missing a trick really if they're paying their membership but they're not accessing it. So I think it's another real good reason to get the word out there that this is available to all members. And I think the other thing is, again, the variety of courses. So yeah, Return to Learn and Women's Lives, they are slightly longer courses that might run over a series of weeks, but I'm sure a lot of the work that you do, Anne, and that we all do, sometimes the courses or the workshops might only be an hour long, people can come along in their lunch break and attend. So there's a real variety out there, anything from a 1 hour workshop to a 1 day workshop, all the way through to professional qualifications. And I think that's a really good thing that we need to get out more, so that more people know. Like Laura says, I think we really need to get the message out there. And so, Stevie, I'm going to come to you, and just thinking about, bearing in mind with the changes that we've had with COVID and everything, some of the things that you've realised maybe over the last year, particularly, that you think makes member learning so important, but also maybe you can tell us about some of the things that maybe are coming up in the future that people might be interested in.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I fully agree with everything Anne's said to us about, the importance of courses to our members in that respect. And, we're in a time where there are still huge skills gaps within the market. And we are finding with some of our members is that they're in two positions sometimes, those that feel that they need learning, or those that feel that they, as you said before, can't access it because it's going to be too difficult or it's going to cost them. Education is at a premium, and unfortunately it's one of the biggest things to be cut in today's economy and in today's workplaces, and people are either finding themselves in roles where that perhaps they don't feel they've had the full range of training for, and we're not necessarily talking about that industry specific training, but the extra training that comes with it, and or that they feel that they want to progress but don't have the skills or the qualifications that they need, and perhaps don't feel that they're able to get those. They're not confident enough, or they don't know where to access them. And I think that's where we come in with member learning in the union, is to show our members that they can access them and they are accessible to them, and we're there to support them and to fight for that, for those education and for those skills rights that they have. And primarily to that, once you've built your confidence there is generally a huge benefit to the union. And I don't mean to us that work for the union, I mean the union that is our collective membership. Because the more you engage with learning, the more likely you are to become active. And obviously those roles are numerous. If you become a steward, if you become health and safety officer, ULR that we've been talking about, union learning rep, the more you can build your community of members around you, the more you can make them aware of what the union has to offer and who we are and what the messaging is and what we're doing for our members and why. Then as we talk about this idea of activism and organisation, the more that organisations and companies, etc., become accountable to doing what is just, what is right, what is needed, but education has got to play a huge part in that, because so many of us don't perhaps have the confidence or don't want to put our head above the parapet until we realise that we are strong and we're united. As part of the union, and I think that education is has a huge part to play in that, and is incredibly important for everyone's benefit.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I think obviously we're trying to engage with individuals and get them to recognise what a benefit it will be to them. But one of the things that we do, obviously, as an organisation, then is make sure that we've got learning agreements with employers, so that they realise that actually it's a benefit for them as employers that their employees are feeling confident, feeling skilled up. All of those things have a knock-on effect. So it's not just employers that benefit, it's not just Unison that benefits. Primarily it's the individuals that benefit, but everyone does, really. Everyone's a winner. And going back to Anne's point, the fact that so much of it is available to members without charge, and actually a lot of the time they'll be given that time to attend as well by their employers, because we'll probably have a learning agreement with them. It really is a win-win for everybody, really. Brilliant. Thanks, Stevie.
I was just going to say, sorry, if you can hit an individual, it's great for the individual, and you as an individual can benefit from it. But if you can hit a whole, a good chunk of a workforce, and as you say, then we get learning agreements in place, etc., then it's not just you that's benefited, it's everyone. And that means that workplace becomes a better place to be and a better place to learn. So it has a double impact on you and your benefit.
Cool. Laura, is there anything you'd like to add onto that thing around why you think it's so important?
Yeah, no, definitely. Learning to me means an increase in new ideas and opportunities that become available. It can change your perspective on things, so it opens up your mind and helps to build on what you already know. And it also creates opportunities to mix with different cultures, different people, and just broadens your horizons on so many different levels. I'm proud to be a part of the job that I do, and as a member, I would say utilise what we offer, have a go, don't feel scared. There is mentoring and help along the way, and you won't look back. There is so much you can achieve, and don't be scared. Just get in touch, and we're here to help you.
Yeah, it is one of those things, isn't it? I think we often find people, once they've tried it once, people keep coming back. So it's that in itself, I think, says something about what we offer and how we offer it in a way that it is engaging, it is friendly, it is fun. Even sometimes when you're talking about quite difficult topics, it's done in a way that's very sympathetic to that topic. But again, it's a real good way of helping and supporting each other. Brilliant. Okay, Faith, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now, if it's okay with you three. I'm going to ask Steve if he would mind. We've got a very short video. It's about 3 minutes long, and it just talks, again, from other voices from around the UK, just telling us a bit about why training has been important to them and their role, and probably links in a bit more, again, with Anne's story about the ULR role as well. So, Steve, whenever you're ready, if you could possibly start the video, that would be great.
Learning will help Unison's organising, because the more people we can get into learning, the better they become, the more confident they become, and the more they realise that Unison's not just to help them when they need to fight something, but it's a platform for them to, and other people, to raise their own aspirations come up in the world and hopefully come up in the Unison organisation.
Learning is really, really key to Unison's organising agenda. It is an opportunity for us to really get into employers, to build relationships with employers, to bargain and negotiate with employers. We can offer something at the moment that employers really want. We can offer opportunities for members to undertake learning that is valuable to members at no cost to an employer. This is something really key that I think we're in a unique position to do. So because we can do that, it then means that we have more influence and more power to bargain and negotiate with those employers around the table.
In our whole process across the whole of Unison needs to be quite a forefront and needs to go forward across everyone, and if everyone who is a union learning rep gets involved, then we can actually push it forward, and that will help Unison as a whole organise and collaborate all this data that has been received together and actually change it around and flip it, which would be quite good.
On a more general basis, it's been very nice to be part of the union movement to show that you can use your previous skills gained for something that helps people and can help with their lifelong learning.
It seems from today and from the survey, lots of different areas have been identified that might need work on, but unless you have enough people to actually carry out that work or to promote it or to start discussions in the workplace, that work will just seem relentless. So I think that we need to think about how we can expand, but what we need to be able to do to expand and create that kind of larger learning environment.
It's for everybody. It doesn't matter what job you're in, it doesn't matter what grade you are, what you are in life. It's a lifelong thing. You can always go back to it, and the great thing about Unison is that they help people, and that's what I want to do, help people from all walks of life to get back into learning again.
Brilliant. Thanks for that, Steve. So I'm hoping everyone was able to see and hear that pretty clearly. Yeah, I certainly could at my end, so that's good. So I think just reiterating really what some people were saying there, the whole point of our member learning dynamic, if you like, as Unison is to help, and it is to support. And I really like the way it was put there. It doesn't matter what role you're in, it doesn't matter where you work, it doesn't matter what grade you are. There's going to be some learning opportunities that are available for everyone and anyone who's a member of Unison. And I suppose one of the things I'm hoping that will happen as a result of today and this week, and a drum that we'll keep on beating, is that as a result of today, go away, find out who your ULR is, find out if there are ULRs in your workplace, find out if there are events coming up in your branch. So contact your branch, find out who the people involved there are, because that will, again, it's a whole kind of pyramid really, where you've got you as an individual that's got your local team, your local branch, and then that will feed into the region and what support they can offer you, and then that in turn feeds into the national. So you're far from alone. If anything, 1.3 million members, we can't be on our own, can we? So I think that's just worth bearing in mind. And the idea is that we'll start wherever you need to start, rather than prescribing what you need to learn or tell you what you need to do. It's more a case of starting wherever you're at and whatever you need support with. So just thinking about that, we're nearly up to our 40 minutes. And Laura and Stevie, is there anything you'd like to add or say before we round up for the day? And do you want to go first? Or sorry, Laura?
It's all right. No, I just wanted to say that regionally we are looking at making education more accessible to all members, which includes obviously looking at the times of doing courses and the people that we can, get out there and speak to. So as a member, if there's anything that you would like to see us put on, or if there was anything that we could do to make education more accessible to you, please get in touch. You know, we want to hear from you. We want to know how we can improve, because that is one of the main agenda items for us, is to make it accessible to everybody. So I would welcome any comments or suggestions that members have got.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and particularly with so many of our members being maybe potentially shift workers and things like that, is that the whole idea again, some of our courses will run in the daytime, some in the evening, some at weekends. So again, once people are speaking to their local ULRs and they're speaking to their branches, then that feeds up, doesn't it, into the region, so that we can put the exact courses that people want and need on, when they want it, how they want it. So obviously at the moment we're having to do a lot of stuff online, but fingers crossed it isn't always going to be like this, and sometimes we'll actually get to sit around a table together and kind of sort some stuff out. But that's a really good point, Laura. Thank you. Anne, is there anything you'd like to add before we finish?
Yeah, I just think everybody should know that each member does count, and it's important that as a member you feel that you count as well. So come along to some kind of course and get a taste, see what you think, and pass on your experience. I'm sure it'll always be a good one.
Yeah, that's a good point. And again, a lot of the courses that we often run little taster sessions, don't we? So again, if you see a bigger course that you're thinking of, but you're not too sure whether it's for you or not, then ask your local ULR, ask the branch, ask the region if they could run a taster course so that you can see if it is for you or not. That's another option as well that we can offer. Brilliant. Thanks, Anne. Stevie?
Yeah, I'd just like to mirror what you've said, really, is look at every level of the union in terms of where you can gain your training from. You know, exactly as you said, John, speak to your ULR in your workplace, speak to, if there is one, speak to your branch. Everybody who's a member is part of a branch. They may be running things, or they may be able to put learning on. And then, as Laura said, speak to your region, because they run separate events. They may be looking at particular things that are needed in a certain region. And then above that, obviously look nationally as well, because we may be obviously looking at issues that are affecting the nation, and maybe offering training on that platform. And the easiest way to know what we are offering nationally is to use, you did see there was a scrolling banner going on for quite a while. Use our national website. There we go. Thank you, Steve. Learning.unison.org.uk. And in the events section of that website, or in line with other articles, you'll see all the courses that are running. We've currently got some OU ones, a dementia awareness one due to run at the beginning of March. It's still got place on it. And we also still have some cruise, bereavement and grief courses that we still have some space on. And they're aimed mainly at care workers. So if you are working in a care home and you are finding it difficult experiencing all the grief and bereavement that you're facing on a day-to-day basis, then come and have a look and maybe apply for one of these courses, because we'd really love to support you.
Brilliant. And I think that's the thing. I think one of the things that lockdown's really shown us, hasn't it, is that obviously there are some things that we have to offer nationally. So if we think about during lockdown, one of the big issues that was coming up around COVID was around health and safety. And so there was a lot of work done, particularly around health and safety with regards to COVID. So sometimes we can just react nationally, and put on training that's going to be accessible and useful to everybody and anybody. But then there's, like I said, the advantage of knowing the people that are in your branch and in your area, as well as that, you know, sometimes there might be an issue, for example, in Laura and Anne's area of Yorkshire and Humberside that might be different to the southeast or different to Wales or whatever. So when you're on the website as well, go to your regional pages and have a look on there, because we know that some of our regions have a very thorough training program, and that's where they have it, and that's where they pitch it, really. So I guess a bit of homework for people is to go away, try and find out who your ULR is, and see who's involved with training and learning in the branch, and maybe the region as well. But check out the websites if you can, and see what sort of things are on offer there, because, you know, it is, you know, the saying, you know, every day is a school day, it's something I like, because we can and do learn new things every day. We have to, as human beings, you know, we're always learning and adapting. And if the last year has shown us anything, it's shown us that we can do that, because we've all had to find new ways of learning and communicating and working and all the rest of it. So fingers crossed, we'll hopefully see a lot more of you all soon. We can't see you today, but you can see us, and you can put some names to the faces. And on behalf of myself and Laura and Stevie, we'd just like to wish you all the best, and taking that first step and trying out a course and promoting member learning for other Unison members that you know. And who knows, maybe one day we'll see you at a ULR conference or something like that, where we can all have a chinwag about how you first saw us on the telly. All right, but I think unless there's anything from anyone else, I think we'll let everyone go, and we'll call it a wrap, if that's okay. All right.